Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since we've spoken, but I'm graduating in a month and a half, so long story short, this semester has been absolutely crazy and I've been so busy. While I didn't have a lot of time to film and edit, I did have a lot of time to read. This is like, I read every night before bed and I have not been sleeping very well, so I've been doing a lot of reading and I read 20 books this month. So I have a lot to cover this month. My goal is to read a lot of books that were on my physical TBR. I think I accomplished that, honestly. And I'm so excited. I read an arc this month, or I'm currently reading, but we'll cover that when we get to it. But I'm just gonna dive in. I have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. I started the month off with The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford, and this is an adult fantasy. It has fae, witches, magic, and I don't know how to explain the plot specifically other than it is very tropey. Not in a bad way, but it was fun, exciting, but follows a very typical trope archetype with characters and plot reveals and stuff like that. It was super fast paced and super fun to read, so I recommend if you want a fantasy that doesn't really take a whole lot of brain power. The world building wasn't like too strong and plots and names were easy to follow. Then I read Canadian Boyfriend by Jenny Holiday and I actually gave this 5 stars. Side note, every time I have a Lenny Kaufman, I think that's how you say her name, covered book, I have to like mention I love her artwork and her character art. It's like gorgeous. But I gave this 5 stars. Honestly, I almost knocked it down a little because of how dumb the third act breakup was. Normally, like, I don't know that anyone likes third act breakups. I specifically hate them. Sometimes they make sense and I understand why they happened. With this one, like, I sort of got it, but he was kind of being an idiot, so I almost knocked down half a star. But honestly, like, I ate this up. It was obsessed. It's single dad. She's a dancer. He's a professional ice hockey player. And I think she nannies for him. So there's a lot of like fun parts about this and I loved all the characters and they had really good chemistry and it was just a super fun read, honestly. So then I read Love Boat Taipei, which I don't have. I read it on my Kindle and I read this because I really wanted to watch the movie. And I thought it was super fun. It was cute and I mean, it was a little frustrating. It is kind of love triangle-y. The plot otherwise is super exciting. Basically, our main character is sent to a sort of a summer camp in Taipei to learn the language, culture, and prepare for medical school, which she doesn't want to. She wants to be a dancer. I don't like love triangles, and normally it's because everyone gets hurt in it, but in this one it just kind of was like, I don't know. It's not my favorite trope, but if that's something that you don't like dislike, I recommend. It was pretty good. It was fun. I love a little YA romance, honestly. I think I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Minx by Sophie Lark, and I will say this about every Sophie Lark book, like her writing is just so addictive. Her books are so addictive. This one was, okay, so he's a billionaire. She's an escort, but she is like really smart and like understands like his business. I think it's like trading stocks, stuff like that. I don't know how to explain it other than it was really good. I definitely would read more on tropes and maybe trigger warnings. I don't know that it's a trigger, but I know like this definitely isn't for everybody, just in the type of romance, I think. I guess I'll say that because I don't want to spoil anything and I don't want to like, I don't know. All I have to say is, if you like Sophie Lark, definitely read Minx. And if you like romance but are not familiar with Sophie Lark or this book, definitely read up a little bit on it before you dive into it. And I love that Sophie Lark's books now are always like illustrated. Like, shut up. I love that. I eat it up every time. Then I read At First Spite by Olivia Dade. This is my first ever Olivia Dade book and I got this in a Illumicrate Afterlight box. Well, it's not really a box, they just do the books now. I really liked this. It is ex-fiance's brother and anxiety and depression rep and hate to love, and she moves to like a small town, but it like gives like small town city vibes. It's very cool, very fun. I forgot there's a cat involved. So cute. Honestly, I really enjoyed this. It is rom-com with a little bit of spice and it was really fun. And I definitely will read the next one because it says it's like Harlot's Bay #1. So I gave this 4 stars. Next, I read Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. I've owned this for years, and so this was one that I was like, I think I probably put it on hold on Libby and was like, when I get it, I have to read it. I need to get it off my physical TBR. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. I really liked the main characters, but I think the female main character is very annoying. I loved the male main character, and the idea of this is very fun. Basically, she gets powers to give people like instant karma. And so like if she sees someone doing something bad, she can like tingle her fingers and like something like bad will happen to them. Not like horrible, but it's kind of like, it's another hate to love. I normally love Marissa Meyer. I have read the Renegades trilogy and the Lunar Chronicle series, and so I kind of thought I would really like this, but I just couldn't get past how kind of annoying the main character was. She was just like on her high horse, and I'm probably not gonna read the next one just because I have no interest also in the pairing of the next book. Then I read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, and I gave this 4 stars. This is a literary fiction. It is about a woman who is like, I don't want to say, I guess she's famous, kind of popular, and she has a black nanny, and the nanny comes over one night to take out her daughter to get her out of the house for something, and this all blows up because she gets accused of stealing the child. And so basically it's this long story about the relationship between the nanny, the mom, the daughter, and you learn about like the mom's past and how their lives like intertwine through the course of like the nanny dealing with the fallout of what happened. And I thought it was really good. I'm not a huge lit fic girly, so you'll probably love it if you like lit fic. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and I'm really glad that I read it. Guys, next I read the Chestnut Spring series. I ate these up. I read these so freaking fast. These, if you've not heard of them yet, they are small town country romances, because they're not all cowboys. We got some bull riders, some ranchers, ex-military. We've got 2 single dads. We actually have one famous hockey goalie. We have forbidden hate to love. I hate forbidden romance, but this isn't really that forbidden, which is good. This is Nanny Grumpy Sunshine. This is Friends to Lovers, kind of Grumpy Sunshine. This is Secret Baby. Ah! Bull Rider. And then this is fake, I guess, Marriage of Convenience, but they don't actually get married, so it's more fake dating. But I absolutely loved these. Reckless was my favorite. Theo was literally the best. Long story short, these were amazing. I ate these up, and now I'm like trying to find something similar like this. So if you know anything that is like similar to these books, please let me know, because I've been dying to find like something similar to these. Because I don't know if it's like the small town, if it's the country, or if it's just Elsie Silver. Like, I'm gonna read her other series and her next book that comes out literally in like a week. I'm so excited for it. Highly recommend those. Then I read Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, and I gave this 2 stars. I think I just didn't vibe with the way the story's being told. It's written in a very weird prose way, and it's kind of unhinged and kind of crazy. This just like wasn't for me. I don't know. It's a YA fiction commentary on, you know, depression, if you couldn't tell. I don't know. I guess I just didn't I don't want to say I didn't understand it, because I got the point of it, but it didn't vibe with me. So I gave it 2 stars because I was kind of like just waiting for it to be over. Then I read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars, and this is only my 2nd Riley Sager book, but I think this is another one that I've seen people say that they didn't like. I thought this was really fun. It is about Maggie, who inherits an old house from her father that she didn't realize he sold, or it still had, because when she was a kid, she doesn't really remember this because she was so young, they moved out and he wrote a famous ghost like horror book about the house, and he's stood by that all of that is true, and she doesn't believe it, and so she is like, I'm gonna move to this house and I'm gonna fix it up and sell it because I just want this out. I don't believe it, this is fake, whatever. And crazy things start happening once she moves in. I would say it's a thriller, kind of trying to figure out if what happened was real, if something else is happening, who's who. So this one I really enjoyed. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm excited. I have Lock Every Door that I'm probably gonna read in the next week or 2, so I'm super excited to read more of his writing, because if I keep like reading the ones that are like less liked, it's only going up from here. Then after that, I finally finished The Witch's Blade. This is the sequel to the High Mountain Court. I think I gave this 3 stars. I I liked these characters more. I think the series is not something I would have continued if I didn't already own it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like a plain 3-star, super easy, fast-paced, like fantasy. I don't have like a huge connection to the characters or the world and universe, so I'm kind of just reading the ones that I have. I have the third one. I haven't started it yet, but I will probably read it in the next couple weeks because I just want to get these off my physical TBR. I'm sure they're probably right up some people's alleys, but for me, I have so much fantasy that I need to read. My physical TBR is like mostly fantasy, and I have read so much fantasy in my life that this kind of series for me is just like nothing special, and so I'm just kind of like going through the motions reading it. Actually, one thing interesting about the series is that it's not completely interconnected standalones because the plots like that are in each book are sequential, but like this is about a different couple than the other one is, and then the third one's a different couple. So I thought that was really interesting and kind of fun, and kind of explains a little bit more about how it's not super high, it's high-ish stakes, but it's not like high fantasy, if that makes sense. So then I read Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert, and I've had this forever, and I was just like, again, let me get this off my physical TBR. And Katie Robert's books to me like are always just such a fast-paced, easy read, and this is the same with this. This is a reverse harem vampire book. There's little to no plot in the first 2/3 of this book. The first 2/3 are like really just smut, which is fine. I really like had no problem with it. I just like don't know how to tell you what it's about because the first 2/3 of this are not really anything. So read the back of it. Honestly, like I don't usually recommend Katie Robert to anyone who hasn't already read her, because for me they're all just like not the same, but they're all fast-paced, smutty, light plot books, very good palate cleansers. I don't know a lot of people who also read Katie Robert, so I'd love other people's opinions on her books. I kind of read them as like fun palate cleansers when I want something brainless to read, and they're pretty entertaining. So then I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and this I gave 3.5 stars, but I really like rounded down on Goodreads because, well, for many reasons. If you've read The Hunting Party, this plot is almost exactly the same, although I'd say these characters were more likable than the Hunting Party characters. In The Hunting Party, I just hated them all. But here there were like 2 characters who I kind of like were rooting for. And also I thought the ending of this was really abrupt and not well fleshed out. Like I still have more questions, and our like villain still had like 2/3 of his secrets unrevealed to the other character that like should have known. So it felt very unfinished to me and unresolved, and I would have loved to see them find out everything as opposed to each individual character realizing how he wronged them. It was fine. I'm pretty sure people love this. I thought it was okay. I'm excited though for The Paris Apartment because I think it follows a different plot. I have it already, and that's why I'm like definitely gonna read it, but I don't know if I'm gonna read any more Lucy Foley because I just find her books to be, the first 65-70% of it to be very slow and very descriptive when it doesn't necessarily need to, and then the last like maybe 30% or less has all the reveals, and they can be really interesting, but the balance of that is not really good enough for me to want to continue to read her books. Then I read Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I also got this as an Afterlife book. Tessa Bailey for me is another good like palate cleanser book. There have been some of her books that I absolutely loved, like It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. I adored those books. I loved them. Most of her other books that I read, I feel like are just kind of fun reads, and for this was a combination of both. It was just a really fun read, but I did enjoy the golf setting. I thought it was fun in a like breath of fresh air as opposed to like a hockey romance. Or I read mostly hockey, or I've read a couple football romances too. So this was kind of fun, and especially since I know golf, it was kind of like, it was a fun read, and the plot of it was silly, but I enjoyed it, honestly. I gave it 4 stars. The last book that I finished this month was Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. This is a YA fake dating romance, and I ate this up. I gave it 5 stars. I'm a sucker for a cute, nerdy YA romance. Like, this kind of reminded me a little bit of Check and Mate. Like, it gave the same vibes that, like, it's just like 2 people passionate about their nerdy little hobbies, falling in love, and it was the cutest freaking thing ever. I highly recommend. It's so short. It's like 300 pages, and I just ate it up. I thought it was so cute, and I just was like, give me more. I loved it. I thought it was so freaking cute. And the last book that I'm reading this month, I will probably finish it by the end of the month. I'm gonna try and finish it tonight or tomorrow. That is Hemlock Queen by Hannah Witten. Guys, if you watch my channel regularly, you know I have been begging in like every video. If it comes up, I always say, please send me an arc of Hemlock Queen. And I received an arc. I've been annotating it because I absolutely love Hannah Witten and her writing and her fantasy series and her worlds and her characters, and I'm obsessed. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm filming a full reading vlog on it because I thought that would be super exciting, reading my first arc with you guys. Especially one that has been highly anticipated and I know I've been talking about a lot on my channel. So I am super excited to finish this. It is, so far, I'm halfway through and it's gonna be up in the stars. Unless something bad, like I don't like happens. Like, I love Hannah Witten and I'm obsessed with this universe. And I literally, like, guys, look. Can you see that? Like, it, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. And then I'm so excited, like, for it to be all, like, pretty with my, like, notes and, like, tabs and, like, highlights. And then I can, like, put it on my shelf. I'm so excited. Hopefully that vlog, I want to try and get it out before or during the week that Hemlock Queen is released, just so it, like, the timing makes sense of it. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see y'all when I see y'all. And I love every single one of you. Bye!